Hello again and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse here and I am back for another kind of a monthly-ish update video, channel update video. Just give you guys kind of an idea what is going on with the channel, with the stream, with a few other odds and ends here and there. But yeah, boy, it has been one heck of a month. It's just been, 2020 just still keeps going, but this month has been pretty good, pretty busy actually, but we'll start out just with giving you a quick channel update. There's been a lot of things going on with the channel lately. Just a lot of videos, regular videos coming out for any new subscribers. I do unlock videos. Main videos are Wednesday and Saturday, and then a Mixer or now Twitch stream archives are going to be coming out on Mondays. So Monday Mixers and Twitch, and then Wednesday and Saturday are kind of the regular videos. So yeah, we've had quite a few different things come out recently that I've been trying to take a look at. I still need to probably do a spotlight video for The Last of Us. I did the stream video for it, but I really do want to do just a simple little bit of gameplay, but like just a true accessibility demonstration video of The Last of Us 2's not only blind but low vision features, because there are features, there's a lot of people that are covering the game from a totally blind standpoint, which is absolutely fantastic. But I also do want to show off some of the couple of the low vision features, like the high contrast mode and a pretty intuitive magnifier. That's pretty sweet too. So I definitely want to get to that here at some point in the fairly near future. But it's just been a heck of a busy month, like I said. Doing a lot of videos, getting my Twitch stream kind of up and going, still covering the various non-E3 gaming events that are coming all throughout the summer. And I will say, unless there's something major that comes out, this week will probably be the last one of those. And I do want to talk about Thursday's Microsoft event. I would love to be able to cover this the moment it happens live, but it's really looking like I'm going to basically stay off of social media all that morning because I want to be surprised. I mean, I'll maybe check it, right away in the morning or something if I do, because the event won't have happened yet. But I have a super busy day for work in the morning, so I can't really just, take time away from that. I'm actually in appointments. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to, at some point, early Thursday afternoon, or whenever I can get a chance. I'll let you guys know a little bit ahead of time on Twitter. But what I'm going to do is just find their actual stream and then watch it and kind of do a reaction to it just as if it were live, because it's pre-recorded anyway. So whether I'll watch it and try to give my thoughts on anything accessibility or that I find noteworthy. I mean, I'm sure they're not really going to talk specifically about accessibility, but I can just kind of, as I've always done, to sort of talk about the titles as I see them, going, oh, this one looks like it could be pretty good, or oh, I can see some challenges here. This one, depending on, could be good or bad. So we'll round off the non-E3 2020 summer playlist event by looking at Microsoft's keynote. I am very intrigued to see our first campaign footage of Halo Infinite. I'm guessing there's got to be some sort of Forza thing. There's a big rumor about a Fable. There could be some Perfect Dark information. Maybe there's a Perfect Dark in the works. There could be, like I said, over the past couple of years, 3 years or so, Microsoft has been really adding to their developer portfolio. They've bought up a lot of studios. And so with the next generation right around the corner here, it's going to be very interesting to see what types of projects that these studios are working on, so that Microsoft hopefully can kind of have more of what Sony has had during the PS4 timeline here. You know, the PS4 has had, especially if you are interested in like single player games, Sony's really where you had to go this generation, because I mean they've had so many, like, not only single player games but first party exclusive single player titles. So, you know, Spider-Man, God of War, The Last of Us, Spider-Man, just so many different ones. Quite a few more that I can't even think of. So yeah, hopefully we get to see what Microsoft is doing. One thing that they have announced, though, however, already, and I'm curious to see what's all going to be on offer through that, and just how it's going to work and the quality of it. Now, Microsoft has had what they've called xCloud, that they've been kind of experimenting with in I think it's a closed beta or possibly a semi-open beta, not exactly sure. But think about how Google Stadia streams games to your devices. So you're not actually downloading and running the game locally. Instead, you're just basically streaming a game that is being run up in the cloud, and you're just getting the audio and video of it, similar to how you stream music or video or Google Stadia. And the interesting announcement that they had is that in September, they are combining this service, when it comes out for real, with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So if you pay that $15 a month, where you get basically a Netflix style list of games that are kind of on a rotating basis, but a pretty solid number of third-party games, and then pretty much all first-party titles. You pay this monthly subscription of $15, and included in that is going to be, it sounds like they're going to be doing a rename. It's not going to be called xCloud. And I don't know if they're going to rebrand and just lump everything under the Game Pass, or if they're going to roll it out into some other sort of like new bundled terminology. I don't know. But they, in September, are going to be combining that all into one. So that is actually really exciting, because believe it or not, like, since I've actually got into Game Pass Ultimate, I've tried a lot more games, you know. I don't know that I would have necessarily put down $40-50 for Minecraft Dungeons. Well, maybe I would have, because I knew about the accessibility and I was very curious, but you know, I was able to just log into that and log into the Microsoft Store on Windows and download Minecraft Dungeons. Streets of Rage 4, you know, all the first-party titles, Halo, the Master Chief Collection, just boom, okay, I've got that right there. So the advantage to this, there's a couple different advantages, especially if you're blind or visually impaired, that this can be a very good way to go. You know, people wonder, they always like, oh, well, is this going to have any accessibility features? Is this something that I'll be able to play? What are the text-to-speech features? Or even as a low vision user, can I see it well enough to play it? Well, if you have all these third-party or these first-party titles, you know, Halo Infinite, you're going to be able to play that sucker day one on Game Pass or on the streaming thing. You know, you can either download or stream these games, try them out, and you're only out the subscription. So you're only out $15 for that month, instead of paying, let's say, $60 or so for a huge AAA game. You know, on top of that, maybe you've got an older computer. Again, you know, a lot of blind users, you know, they don't necessarily ordinarily need a powerhouse of a computer, because they're just, you know, going on the internet, and, you know, audio games don't really take up a whole lot of resources. So, you know, you can get by with integrated graphics, or, you know, not quite the latest and greatest. But as these more mainstream games do become more accessible and start adding accessibility features, what you're going to find is that you're either going to need to stream the game so that you can be able to even play them, or you're going to have to, you know, have an upgraded console or upgraded computer rig to be able to play them, you know. So, like, I remember there was a video that I watched where somebody was demoing demoing a game, and they were blind, and like the audio went through perfectly fine, but you were watching the video and it looked kind of like a slideshow. So if you were watching this, let's say as a sighted or low vision gamer, yeah, the audio went through great, but it was really difficult to watch visually. So the cool thing about game streaming is, you don't necessarily have to have a powerhouse PC, and especially if you're, only going to be participating or playing a few games at a time until things really become a lot better overall for accessibility. You could use an older computer, even like a tablet or something like that with a controller, and be able to, you're the power that's, playing these games is in the cloud, and they're just shoving you the game video and audio to your system. So yeah, there's a couple of really interesting uses of game streaming. Now, what the bandwidth requirements and what what that's going to look like for everyone, it's really going to largely depend on A, your internet, and B, your data caps, because I'm sure you do that for, I don't know what the usage is for like 1 hour of what the bandwidth is, or how much data you're downloading over 1 hour, but it's probably, fairly large. So, these are just things that we're all going to have to look at. But I am genuinely curious, and I got to tell you, like, this Game Pass Ultimate thing is just, if you're in the Microsoft ecosystem at all, be it Xbox or Windows, and you're into games, like, it's kind of like a no-brainer. At this point, it's like, how can you not subscribe to that service? It's definitely the best deal right now in that type of gaming subscription sort of a thing. So they have already announced that, and I am rather intrigued to see what first party titles we are going to get in order to download or stream later this fall, So we'll see what Microsoft does. I will be covering it this Thursday because I'm definitely wanting to know. I hope they do definitely a lot better than they did earlier this year. And I hope they can at least match the excitement that Sony had, the variety of games that Sony had. They had some mature stuff, but then they had some, your action-y platformer stuff. They had some just quirky stuff with bug snacks and all these other weird things. So they had a good variety, and I hope that Microsoft doesn't just trot out, oh, here's another Halo, here's another Gears of War, here's another... those games are okay, but, we definitely need something new. We definitely need something different than the typical 3 or 4 games that they've been really resting on the last few years. So yeah, very interested to see what's going on Thursday. I'm not, like I said, unless there's something really, really huge, this going to wrap up the summer non-E3 2020 events, so probably won't be doing any more of those streams. I will try to still be streaming on weekends, especially Saturdays or so. Maybe, in the morning or usually afternoon or evenings. I do try to do the afternoons every once in a while because we do have a couple of viewers who are overseas, and just due to the time zone differences, like, hey, if I do this 7, 8 o'clock at night, it's obscenely late for them. So, just to allow people different opportunities to come and join the fun. One other thing about Microsoft, it's currently available now, haven't checked it out yet, but Microsoft is the first console to have an audio game demo available. The Veil is going to be releasing on the Xbox. I'm not sure if it's at the same time as the PC version whenever that comes out, but I covered the PC version of the Veil beta when it came out a long time ago, and then they updated it a little bit, and Riley got to try it. So I've covered it on the channel a couple of times already, but I do think it's worth noting that, hey, we're actually getting a audio game release on a modern console, the Xbox One. So you can actually go out and grab the demo for the Veil, and you can do that accessibly with narrator on your Xbox, or you can use your PC and download it with the browser and just have it sent to your Xbox. So that is an option. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, also in addition to all the channel stuff, all of the streaming, getting Twitch going, RIP Mixer. I believe it was the 22nd. So wow, yeah, that'll be tomorrow as I'm recording this. So it'll be today if you're watching this, because this will be the Wednesday video. Yeah, RIP Mixer. I did like it. The latency, the delay was minimal. It was just really good. But what I've used of Twitch so far, it seems pretty good as well. Might be a little bit more behind, but not terrible. Seems like they have fixed it since I last looked into it a while back. But, I mean, the other thing that not many people are talking about with the death of Mixer is there is a feature that I never really got around to playing with called Copilot. And you can still do this locally on an Xbox One. But Mixer had it integrated into their service to where basically what Copilot was let's say I'm a blind user, or maybe I'm a little kid who's new to gaming and just doesn't have the skills to get through some part of a game yet. And I could be playing the game, and then with Copilot, someone else with a second controller could at any time jump in and have the same exact controls. So I'm playing Halo, or I'm playing Forza, or whatever it is. And if I'm having trouble with something, or can't navigate a UI, or can't finish a certain challenge that I'm trying to complete, somebody else can come in and assist me with that. So I don't have to give up my controller. They can just go, oh, here, let me help you get through that part, or let me help you navigate this. And the cool part about Mixer was that they were doing that, I guess, online. And I believe it was Sightless Combat who had said that he had been doing that with things like Gears of War and other titles. So definitely go check him out, because I know he's demonstrated that in a few different ways. But I hope I'm not misspeaking. But I believe it was Sightless Combat who had been doing that. And that's just a really cool accessibility feature that, most people are just kind of like, whatever. No one ever used it, or didn't think anyone used it. But for the people who could make use of it, and that was a really innovative way to cooperatively play together, or have for a person with a disability to get help if they needed it remotely. That's really, really cool. And Twitch doesn't have anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, literally, we were just starting a week before, not even a week before that happened. We were just starting out this, I can't even remember what they called the group, but it was kind of this, they were getting together this accessibility group that was going to be working on all kinds of Xbox and Mixer accessibility stuff. It was just going to get off the ground, and then poof, I believe it was a Monday. And yeah, it was like after one of these gaming events, I checked Twitter and went, oh dear God, what? And people who were working there were just as surprised as we were. So yeah, so that happened, and I've done a couple of Twitch streams so far, and they are uploaded to YouTube, so they will be unlocked once all the other Mixer streams are done. Got several of those to unlock for you guys over the next few weeks yet. But another project that I've been really busy with over the last few weeks, and I can talk a little bit about now, is earlier yesterday and today, I've talked about it on Twitter as well. You've probably seen some tweets from me about it. there's the XR Access Symposium. So in June, I did that presentation for our local IGDA chapter on game accessibility. Video is right there, cheap plug, right on the channel there. Definitely check that out if you haven't already. And please, if you have other developers or if you're advocating for a game for accessibility, share that video with them. Feel free to share, in addition to any development resources, share that game accessibility presentation with developers or people who might be able to help make a difference with it. But so I did that in June, but in July we had this XR Access Symposium yesterday and today, so the 20th and 21st. And this was a whole conference just devoted to augmented and virtual reality accessibility. People who have followed the channel for a while know that I've been really pretty heavily invested in trying to get virtual reality to be more accessible. Did that presentation in 2017 and have that accessibility, VR accessibility playlist, and just kind of, trying to demo my experiences with different apps and game experiences. So it was really neat. There was a lot of people there, and we had yesterday was kind of a series of shorter talks, about half-hour talks from a lot of different people in several different areas. And then today was primarily 2 sets of breakout sessions. So we had 6 of them in the morning and then 6 of them in the afternoon. And they were all on different topics. And at the end, we came together for about another hour, and we kind of reported back to the entire group as to, hey, these are in these different areas of XR accessibility, which is VR and AR combined. In these different areas, these are the types of things that we want to try and start to tackle in the next year or so and beyond. So yesterday was pretty interesting. Like I said, there were several different talks on a lot of different areas. And today in the morning, I was a co-facilitator of a session on like no vision and low vision XR accessibility. And we had a group of about 20 some people. I forget how many were, 15, 20 people. I think it was kind of fluctuating a little bit. We had a little bit of technical issues. Overall, the conference had some technical issues right away this morning, but we got them ironed out and people joined, and we had a really good discussion on different things related to blind and low vision accessibility. There were people that were developing apps, there were enthusiasts like myself who just wanted to know more from a consumer end or an advocacy perspective. Just a really interesting group. And then this afternoon, I had participated in a similar conversation, but this was more of a technical conversation session on more of like XR models, like frameworks. So like, okay, what would be needed for, let's say, a blind or low vision user to effectively use virtual reality? So, similar to how the web or a program on your computer or an app on your phone or tablet, like how all of those different things have these different accessibility hooks, like image alt tags, or, oh, I know this is a button because it's tagged as a button, or I know this is the title bar or whatever. Having those types of things in virtual reality or augmented reality, but then also adding on top of that things that are unique to AR or VR. So, the point of, you're not just looking at like a flat screen, like a web page or a window. You are looking at usually some sort of, at minimum, 360-degree video, or all the way up to a full virtual environment. So there's these extra things where you almost combine. I like the way that one guy described it this morning, where he was, or no, it was yesterday, where he kind of talked about it being, you're taking basically these standards and, types of tagging and different things that you find in programs and the internet and all this electronic stuff, and then you're kind of combining that with things that you would design for real world accessibility. Things like curb cuts, the audio streetlights, where you can hit the button and it'll tell you when to cross. I mean, there's things that can help, where you're just using audio landmarks to be, or, not so much smell, but like in real world, like, oh, you hear something, or, oh, I smell, oh, there's the bakery, something like that. So using those types of things in a virtual environment. So it's kind of combining real world accessibility with traditional digital accessibility. So, and then there were other sessions that I didn't attend because they were at different or the same times. But there was things for like hearing impairment, mobility, cognitive impairments. There was some on like employment and education and just all kinds of different things. So we heard people report back this afternoon, and it was, like I said, there's a lot of different great feedback, and I'm kind of curious to read through some of these documents and see where, as XR Access, as a group, and even, who we can partner with in the industry. I was hoping to hear that someone from Oculus or Valve would be there, especially Oculus maybe. But where can we go from there? Like, how can we start? It's great to talk about this stuff, but what I want to know is how can we start making some of this happen so that, God forbid, we actually can navigate the Oculus or Steam VR dashboard or PlayStation VR dashboards. So even if a game or an app does have accessibility, can we buy and download and actually get to the bloody thing? And that kind of ties into one of the activities that we did yesterday. They had it was a lot of the presentations, these little short sessions. But then at the end of the day, they had this about an hour long, little shorter VR demo using Mozilla Hubs, which I didn't even know was a thing, or I hadn't heard of it before this. And this is it's kind of like an online VR meeting place, and you can join if you have a VR headset, or you can join within a web browser if all you have is a flat screen device. So I tried to play with it a little bit this last weekend before the event because they gave us some of the links early. And I wanted to see what the process was like because, like I said, let's see if we can try this on my Rift. I want to be able to experience this in VR. That would be really cool. But problem is, accessibility thwarted me, or lack thereof thwarted me again, so here's the thing. In order to make this work, basically you have to go to this website in Firefox, and you can either choose to enter right within that browser, or you can enter with a VR headset. And if you choose to enter a VR headset, what it tells you to do, it pops up this next little page that says, okay, go to this short little address here. So open up your VR headset, go to its web browser, so in my case, the Oculus web browser, type in this short address, and then type in this 4-digit code into the headset, and then you can join this room. Okay, in theory, not a problem. I totally understand what I'm supposed to do. Here's the thing. The problem is that, well, as I've talked about before, the Oculus home dashboard or home interface is not what I would call the most low vision friendly, and it is absolutely not blind friendly. The main reason that I'm able to play and use so many of these VR apps as I do is because I can manage and run them from my Windows desktop PC. So when I use the Oculus desktop app, I can use the store, I can download a game, I can run a game, I can uninstall it, all those things. But if I were to try to do that, you can do all that stuff within the headset with their VR interface if you want to. But the text is too far away, it's too small, I simply cannot read it. And so accessing the built-in web browser within the Oculus environment, I didn't know where it was. And so I couldn't open the browser and then try to use the VR virtual keyboard because it doesn't seem to let you use your computer's physical keyboard, even though your headset is connected to a computer in my case. So I couldn't just type it in with my physical keyboard. So there were a lot of different barriers for me to even try to get into it through VR. So I had to settle for joining through the web. And it was kind of neat because I did get to talk to a few people, and I did get to talk to one other totally blind person who was in the room that I joined and who was attending the conference. So that was pretty cool to see some totally blind representation there. And yeah, so I thought that was it was a bummer, but I'm glad it happened on the first day because then I had a little bit more ammunition for my session this morning to go, hey, let me tell you why this accessibility business is so important. So we had this event yesterday, and then I briefly explained what I just told you guys. And then I told them the story about me unpacking the Oculus Quest for the first time. And what is the first thing that they had you do when you unboxed it? Okay, download the app on your phone, then turn your headset on and read the number in the headset so that you can type that into your phone to pair the two devices together. Yeah, well, again, the number was too far away, it was too small, I couldn't read it. So luckily I was able to knock on my neighbor's door across the hall and go, yeah, here's a weird question, but can you put on this headset for like 2 seconds and read this 4-digit number to me that I can't read? And so, yeah, taking the Oculus Quest right out of the box, the first step in getting it running, didn't work. I needed, even myself being low vision, having some vision, I needed fully sighted assistance to do. So, like I said, yes, we want apps and games and experiences to be accessible, but I really think, as important as that is, we got to get these guys on a platform level to even acknowledge accessibility and at least get some of the way there. Give us some text to speech, give us a magnifier, give us something. A little bit of both. Even if it's not perfect, we need to start somewhere because, like I said, that's going to be a big barrier for a lot of people. And then there's something else I really have to try with Vacation Simulator, because remember when I did the video a while back on it, and there were those sections where like, oh, here, build this pattern of a sandcastle or an ice castle, or here's a food order that we want you to bring to somebody, and I need these exact ingredients. Well, again, a large part of like Job Simulator I can mostly do pretty well. There's a couple little things, especially in the infinite overtime, that I had trouble with because I didn't know what it was actually asking me to do because the blackboard was super far away. But in Vacation Simulator, more so, I had some issues reading and knowing exactly what this objective wanted me to do. And there was a little bit of time yesterday where they had these little demo feature things, and we were using Slack, which is this kind of group messaging tool for chat. And Alchemy Labs, shout out to those guys because I love me some Job Simulator. And they have been, to be fair, they have been considering accessibility, different types of accessibility, and different types of play areas and capabilities and all those types of things. So it's not like they haven't been trying. They are one of the ones that I think have been doing some of the best stuff. But for people who are new to it, they had a section where you could watch a video and then talk to these different groups and ask about accessibility. And I joined and I said, hey, I love these games, but here's the problem I'm having. And so we chatted for a few minutes, and they gave me, they're willing, they might be able to add either more magnification or more zoom or something to a future update to the game, which is fantastic. But they gave me an idea that I didn't even think to try, and I'm going to have to, just to see if or how well it works. So in Vacation Simulator, you have a camera that you can pull out of your backpack. And I think I guess there's like a telephoto lens that you can use somehow. So maybe as a low vision user, I might even be able to use that device that's already in the game that's meant really just for taking pictures. But the cool thing is I might be able to use that to try to zoom in and look at some of these instructions. That's something I'm just going to have to try and at least let them know, because I'm like, oh, it didn't even dawn on me. I didn't even think about that. So all in all, it was a really interesting conference. It was a really interesting symposium, and they're going to be these annual things. So hopefully they said, if things sort of go back to normal-ish, they want to have it in person, but at minimum, hopefully we'll have one again next year, next summer or whenever. But yeah, it was a cool experience, kind of being on the inside of it, but also being a participant in some of the sessions and everything. So if you guys are interested in VR accessibility or augmented reality accessibility, go to xraccess.org and you can learn more about it. And they have several of these working groups, anything from like tools to apps to like, not sales, but like promotion, like getting the word out there, like networking. I mean, there's several different areas. There's an education one, I think. There's policies. There's several different working groups. So I would encourage you, if you are interested in that type of thing, you know, um, yeah, we can definitely talk about it on Twitter. We can talk with it about, with it. We can talk about it with each other, but that's only going to go so far. Eventually, we got to get out there, and we got to, you know, it's kind of like financial things. It's like put your money where your mouth is. Like, hey, get out there, and if you really want stuff to happen, we got to get out there and try to start networking, and have some ideas. It might be worth sharing with that type of group, because I've made a lot of good connections, both in IGDA and XR Access, and just through the YouTube channel and all kinds of different things through Twitter. There's been a lot of great things that have been happening. So, we're in a really good time to get into all this technology and game and VR, AR accessibility. There's a lot of stuff. So, yeah, that's what I've been busy doing the last few weeks. I've been really trying to help prepare for these sessions and communicate with some of the other people. We've had meetings and working on a few documents here and there and all that kind of stuff. It was fun, but I'm glad that it's done. I can kind of relax for a little bit, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. There's going to be some more games that are coming out, that I'm interested in. Serious Sam should be coming out here in August. I know there's some other games. And just the infinite backlog that I already have, So there's plenty of stuff that I'll be covering, both on the channel and on Twitch. And that's kind of what I've been up to. Other things of note that I can chat about quick before I wrap up. I know there were a few things early on in the month, 2020, the year of drama upon everything else, everything else that's been going on. I know there was some stuff that was going on, early, and I can't even remember. Like I said, just every time you blink or turn around, just some new form of chaos is taking place this year. And I know there were, like in early July, late June, early July, I know there were people that are just mad about something and, some things. And I can't even remember it all because, like I said, every time something happens or calms down, then something new happens. So, but yeah. I didn't hear much from the conventions. I was busy with a lot of other stuff, so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention. I don't know, them being virtual. I know they had some sort of virtual exhibit halls. I don't know how or what they did for that kind of a thing. So who knows if we'll get more information that way or like a audio interview on blind bargains or something. As usual, I'm not sure. But haven't heard a whole lot about that. But yeah, just largely just everyone try to keep staying safe. And, if you don't have to go out, maybe don't, especially if you're in a highly populated area and you've got a lot of people that are running around without their masks. And if you do go out, for God's sake, please wear a mask. I understand there's a few people, like due to medical conditions or something, that physically can't wear a mask. But, do I like to wear a mask when I go out? No, not particularly. But I'm not just thinking about myself either. It's not all about me and my entitlement and what I want and deserve. And no, it's, you're helping to prevent this from spreading to other people. I don't want it. I don't want other people to get it. So, if you can, wear your damn mask, please. Yeah. Oh, and then I know the other part of it was there was, there was that Ubisoft event that happened, what was it? I don't remember. Was it last week or the week before? Hell, I can't remember. And there's just been a whole, I think I touched on this like last month's video. There was already things starting to come out with all of the terrible behavior from like Ubisoft and IGN and just to name a couple, but there's like a whole bunch of stuff I don't even know. I didn't read about it. I just seen the headlines. Evo got canceled. The fighting game tournament that was supposed to happen, either was it this month or early next month, got canceled. The fighting game tournament. The Smash Brothers community is going through a bunch of crap. They're just executives and heads of companies are resigning left and right because they can't keep it in their pants or don't know how to treat women or other people like regular, like actual human beings. I don't get it. But I'm glad that this stuff is, like I said, I'm glad people are speaking up about it. And this shit has got to stop. So, I'm glad that at least, I guess better late than never. I can't speak to it really from an educated view because I haven't had to go through a lot of, even close to a lot of the things that I'm hearing about. Not just in gaming, but entertainment and wrestling and government official. It's everywhere. Just there's this whole case of people just like, all right, you know what? everything else is going wrong this year. You know, we're going to call it. We're going to say 2020, enough is enough, and call out all this just crap behavior and try to, I don't know, try to make it stop, try to act like maybe civilized human beings. I don't know how much hope I have for that happening by some of the stories I'm hearing, but there's always hope. But yeah, so those are, like I said, that's just a bit of an update on things that are, I hate to end on a downer, but that's what I've been up to. Oh, and I can't really talk about it a whole lot. I know it's a public beta, but I have downloaded the iOS 14 public beta, and there are some neat things in there. There are some neat things in there that when it fully comes out, I will probably try to do another video on that type of thing because I've done so in the past. So there are some nice voiceover and magnifier accessibility tweaks and features and updates and hopefully fixes. I've already reported a few bugs to Apple through the feedback app. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. So yeah, I've been keeping really busy, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. That is an update on what's going on here. Again, everybody stay safe. Please wear your masks if you can. And yeah, we'll just keep plugging away. We'll see what Microsoft's event is. We'll chat about that on Thursday. And until next time, you can follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, twitch.tv/illegally-cited, illegally-cited.com, and of course you can like this video and you can subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. So until next time, I will hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, I will chat with you guys again later.